But I do want to talk to you guys about the fact that you're the first team that's had to go up against the subbed out deep roster of Team Liquid and ask you a little bit about preparation, knowing that this is a 10-man deep roster and at any time they could be swapping a guy in and out, and with only a small amount of notice, you guys had to prepare for that. So Yellowstar, coming to you first, what were the discussions within the team and how, with such little time, did you guys prepare against Dardoch and Matt coming in?
Well, depending on who's going to play for the team, it doesn't really matter because we don't have a lot of data on them since it's the beginning of the season. So it's rather us choosing what we want to play and how we want to play. But since we've just arrived and we're a new roster, we don't have a lot of time to practice together. So we're just still figuring out how to play with each other.
Well, speaking of which, being a new roster, then, I do want to ask you what your assessment is in terms of the state of TSM right now, the roster, and what would be your greatest challenges that you need to overcome at this point to improve as a team, Doublelift?
Well, yeah, we just didn't really click right off the bat. So, like, our team play is pretty lacking, and we also just had really little time right away. I don't like to make excuses, obviously. Like, every team had pretty limited time to prepare for LCS, but we only had like 7 days or 8 days of practice, and yeah, we were just having a lot of struggles early on. I mean, practice isn't going very well, and it's just taking a lot of time for us to get good. Honestly, I don't think we won because we played well. I actually think we won because Team Liquid played really bad. So it was one of those wins where it's like, oh, like, I'll take it kind of thing, and it's not like a win that you're really proud of.
W is a W. But to your point then about not feeling as though you necessarily took the win yourselves, where, though, and why did you feel that the game did turn? At what point? Because Irene just illustrated a team fight in which Liquid kind of propelled themselves ahead, and a lot of people would say, well, now they're in the position to take the victory. So what was it? What changed either in your play or their play specifically that gave you the mentality or the mindset of, now we can win this game, or we will walk away with it?
Okay, so I think early on in every game, our instincts are always really different, and so that's why we struggle, because everyone has a different play style from a different team, and so our instincts are all just, they don't align very well early, but then as we talk, as the game goes on, we can come up with a plan. So early on, our front line was just kind of suiciding, and later on, we were just like, okay, just stay tight with Ezreal and Syndra, and if they're hitting you, then we can hit them back. But because Ezreal and Syndra, they need time for a long team fight to get their damage going, so we needed to just play like more as a ball, and less like spread out and having like a really scattered, chaotic fight.
All right, now looking at TSM is having little time to practice, but comparing yourselves to the remainder of the teams in the LCS, Yellowstar, what is your assessment, one, of where TSM might rest, and then what is the team that you would kind of see as the pinnacle right now, who you're striving to beat, and would be that benchmark of success for you?
Well, as a personal goal, I would like TSM to finish at least in the top 2 for the regular season, but of course we're aiming always for the top, and we have high expectations. So starting this season with a 1-1 is not really worrying at first. I'm pretty sure that we'll show up on time.
Yeah, there are plenty of games to play, Doublelift, in an article with ESPN, you were quoted as saying that you do believe the two of you could be the best Western bot lane, but that it shouldn't be expected that you would have been there after only 10 or so days of practice. Another question about kind of the future and the development of your synergy as a bot lane. Where do you feel you two could improve most in your journey towards becoming the best Western bot lane?
Usually bottom lane is just about having two people with similar instincts. So when you come up with a situation, you've been through it so many times that you don't really even need to communicate very much like what you're going to do. It's more just about like cooldowns or specifics. So I think it'll just take a lot of games. Like it sounds really silly, but at some point you just have to grind out a lot of games to align your instincts to be like always on the same page. And obviously, Fnatic, they played really top focused, and CLG played really bottom focused. So I think right now we actually play quite well together, but there's so much room for improvement because it's only been 10 days, like you said.
Absolutely. Now, finally, Yellowstar, back to you, just as you have made the trip over from the European LCS. For you, what has been maybe the toughest transitional piece in terms of coming from EU to NA, especially, too, since you have to consider that at some point you're going to be up against two of your former teammates, Reignover and Huni?
Well, I don't know. It's just every season is so different. Like whether it is in Europe or in North America, every player is just different. So, in my opinion, what we're looking for is just to perform as best as possible, and doesn't matter who we're facing. I think we'll give our best.
All right, well, that's good to hear. Once again, gentlemen, congratulations on the victory today, pulling out that 1-1 for the opening week. Now, stay tuned for our next match, where Echo Fox will look to end the week 2-0 when they take on High and the rest of the boys in blue. You're watching the North American LCS.